Hello. I used to think that my money problems happened because I did not make enough money, but that is not true. My money problems happened because I didn't look at my money often enough. So today, I'm going to explain why monitoring your money every single day opens a portal to one of the most powerful money managing habits that I have developed for myself and that you can too. So let's get started. All right, so here is my money management workbook with three different windows open showing three different spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet on the left is my money spreadsheet. The one in the middle is the management spreadsheet. And the one here on the far right is the moves spreadsheet. My money management moves workbook with three separate spreadsheets. All right, first thing I do is I open up my online checking account and I copy the balance from there and I put it over here on the money moves spreadsheet and I paste it right here so that the balance can populate in this particular cell. You can and after I do that, I go line by line from my online banking account and start entering the transactions that have happened for the previous day. And this is something I do every day. Again, I do this every day because it puts me in a position where I have control over what's going on, and I always have an eye on what's going on. And furthermore, it puts me in a uh always awareness of what's going on. I understood I didn't need to be rich. I just need to be consistent because problems like the problems that we have with money, they don't show up overnight. They build quietly if you're not paying attention. So today is about paying attention. So let me go ahead and get started. So the first transaction amount when I look at my online banking statement is $24.96. 24.96. That's in there. The next one is 6013. After that, it is 3006. After that is 2160. And then there's one for okay, so that's all of them. And I noticed over here that I did not balance. My bank balance from my online banking statement is 19,1987, but my checkbook balance is 1894.91. So that means that there's a difference over here of 24.96. And that's difference is because that particular merchant hasn't cleared that particular purchase hasn't cleared the bank. It only shows that like it's a pending amount. And that is from a place called Plan FIT. So I'm going to put that in my gym. I'm going to label that's going to the gym expense. And the next one is HEB. And I know that is for the lawn and for some groceries. I got some money cash back for some lawn care. So that's house needs. I'm just labeling it here in the middle. And also, so that house needs was $40 to get the lawn, the grass cut. And then the rest of it was grocery. And that was minus $20.13. In this cell, I'm just going to push plus 40 plus 20.13 so that I can make sure that I still stay balanced over here on this side. And again, this is a part of what I do every day so that I can keep on top of things and so that there will be no surprises along the way as I control my money. All right, the next one is going to be 3006, and that the title of that one is um what is it? Yeah, it's mobile. So I'm gonna say this is O Op Mobile for my cell phone bill, and that's gonna go to the phone expense. So I'll know where to put it. I put the label right there in the middle, so I'll know where to put it over here when I make the moves. And then $20.60. That was $20.60. Yeah, that was actually some groceries as well. GB, and I think that's gonna, yeah, it already populated GROC. All right, so now that I know where everything is, I'm gonna take these amounts and I'm gonna deduct them over here on this side. So I'm gonna find the gym because that $20 and $24.96 is gonna be deducted from the gym expense. So here's the gym expense. It has $29 in it right now, and I'm going to go up here and put in and subtract 24.96. Enter, and I'm gonna come back over and mark it that I've entered it. The next one is $60.13. 40 going to house needs, 2013 going to groceries. So I'm gonna go over here to groceries minus 20.13, and then go to house needs minus $40. All right, next one. Oh yeah, since I marked that one, I'm gonna mark that one and make it bold because that was a double entry. And just in case I ever have to go back and check to see if I'm off, I'll know where my double entries are, and that'll make it easier to find. The next one's going to be the phone bill. The phone bill is right here, and it's going to be 3006 coming out minus 30.06. All right. And then I'm going to mark it that I posted it right there. And next is going to be grocery again for 2160. All right, grocery is already negative 40, so I don't have it. It looks like I don't have it, but I'm gonna explain that later. So I took out the 2160, as you can see there in the formula bar. I'm gonna go and mark it over here. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slide this over, and I'm gonna look at these little calculations here that I call my corrective actions. I'm gonna slide this down a little bit so it's easier to see. All right, so my corrective actions represent my leftovers, well, the amounts that I'm short. I put in the amounts that I'm short here, and I use this to determine what I'm going to do about the amounts that I'm short. And this is again why I look at this every day, so I can make these corrective actions, and I'll know the big picture. All right, so in this particular case, I'm going to reference the cells that have the negative amounts over here. All right, there's some negative amounts over here, and as I explain this, you're going to kind of understand what's happening as I go. All right, so I'm going to reference. So I'm going to push plus this cell right here for the house needs, plus this cell right here, plus this cell right here, all the negative amounts. And then I push enter, and it's going to come up with this number, that 233.43, 233 34. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is call your attention to the fact that right here, I got $6.96 left over. And that amount represents, that's a good question. What does that amount represent? $6.96. $6.96. I have to look into that because I thought that was going to be a situation where it balanced out, but it didn't balance out. So let me just double check to make sure I didn't enter anything incorrectly. This is one of the situations that you run in from time to time. So it doesn't look like I did. I'm gonna $4 and nine. Oh, I see. No, that's not it. Did I enter the gym already? I probably did, right? Where's gym? Where's gym? Where's the gym? All right, here we go. 24.96. Yeah, I entered it. 24.96 minus 24.96 minus 24.96. So it is entered correctly. I just got to determine where that amount is coming out of. I also have $50.28, but that was already previously entered right there. So this is good that this is happening, cause so you can see how monitoring your money every day, it helps with balancing your account and catching these things early, because if you don't catch them early, they'll start to build up, and it'll be a problem later on down the line. So let me see why I'm off here $6.96. I'm gonna look back here at my checking account to see if that amount appears, and I don't see 696. So I think I might have entered an amount incorrectly. So I'm gonna go to Jim first, which is just to kind of backtrack, and that's 24.96. That's correct. Okay, it was supposed to be $40 on the house needs. I did that one. There's that $40 right there up in the formula bar. Then $20 for the um $20.13 for groceries. That's what's supposed to come out the groceries. 2013. I think I see it. Yeah. $20.13. I think I see it. Cause see right here, it says $2.13, but that should actually be 20. So 20, enter. Now it looks a little better. That's 24.96 represents that amount that's pending at the bank. That's the unpaid amount at the bank. So I'm gonna move this over to the side a little bit to indicate that that one's actually pending. And these, I'm gonna put a few X marks here to show the ones that cleared, and this one's not gonna be an X. It's gonna be the one without the X to indicate that that's the one that was missing. So see, that's an easy way that you could understand why it's important to look at your your bank account every day, because if you don't, then I wouldn't have catch that, and that's why I do this every day. Sometimes I'll skip a day, but for the most part it's every day. All right, so I'm gonna go over here, enter X here to indicate that this one cleared the bank, and the only one that is let me go ahead and highlight this bad boy too, because I want to remember it. It should clear tomorrow, or in a maybe in 2 days or so. All right, so I was explaining to you what I'm gonna do about the short amounts. Okay, so I have $251.34 in short amounts, right? And that reflects these amounts here. Plus, I remember one, which is house needs. So I'm gonna reference a sale by pushing plus this sale over here in this workbook. I mean, in this spreadsheet, and I'm going to go to house needs and enter that amount right there. So now the 251.34 matches this 251.34, because this 251.34 are these amounts. These amounts are the individual. This is all of them together, and this is them individually. So it's like a checks and balances to make sure I got them all. So that yellow box should match that yellow box. This purple box should match that purple box. This red box should match that red box. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna look at the income that I have right here. These are formulas saying, okay, plus the negative amount plus what am I gonna get next week. So in particular for groceries, it's $140. Entertainment, I got this negative amount here, but when I look at entertainment over here, I'm not getting anything. So I have to be mindful of that. And again, you be mindful of stuff by looking at it every day. On the go food, I'm short 16.29, but according to this, I reference this sale over here in the middle on the management spreadsheet, and I see that on the go food I'm gonna get $34. So that 34 is gonna cover this 16.29, and it's gonna leave me 17.71. Let's do it for house needs. House needs plus this negative amount plus what am I getting for house needs next week? $40. Enter. All right, so that's gonna leave me 29 cents left. So at least I know what's going on. And I already did the one for haircut and self care. So for the most part, I'm gonna be $5.66 over because all of these are gonna be clear. But that's really not the way that I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it for the fact that, okay, because I know what's going on, because I will look at this stuff every day, it puts me in a position to make some changes that I need. And in this particular case, the changes that I need is $65 for on the go food. The only thing I can think of to cover for that, if I could take money from one of these other expenses and apply it to the entertainment, because entertainment is like you can see here, it's already, I've already used all of my allowance for this week for entertainment. So I'm not getting any in these last 2 weeks. But that's fine because I know that because I always plan for an emergency fund, I'm going to use this $72 right here when it comes in. I'm going to apply it to the emergency fund expense over here, which is right here. But then I'm going to make a money move to have it cover for this 6504. So that's the gist of it, Um, Making these type of changes and looking at your money every day, it doesn't put you, it puts you in a position of good control. It's just like brushing your teeth, kind of, right? You wouldn't wait until the end of the month, or in you wouldn't wait an extended amount of time. I would never wait an extended amount of time. I brush my teeth every day because I want to make sure they stay clean. I look at my money every day, so I want to make sure the numbers stay clean, that I'm always balanced. You never know, it might be some fraudulent charges or anything like that on there. You want to develop I had to discipline myself to develop a habit of looking at my money every day, because it prevents problems later on. Like, not brushing my teeth every day will prevent me to have bad teeth and cavities. So these type of things are essential to making sure your money is doing what it's supposed to do. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It took a long time now because I was explaining it to you, but usually this takes about 3 to 5 minutes because I've been doing it so long. I look at my balance, I look at yesterday's expenses or the expenses from the previous day, and then I make sure that every bit of my money has a job. It has a responsibility. And that's primarily what I do when we go over here and I look at the management spreadsheet at the beginning of the month. I'm saying, okay, I'm getting this 1750. I'm saying, okay, $40 of that 1750 is going to this job of covering the house needs. $140 of it is going to this job of covering for groceries, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And as I do that, I develop a habit of making sure I know where that money goes, and that's starting. That's how I put forth effort to control this money, because if you don't control your money, it will control you. Listen, you don't have to be perfect at this. I'm not perfect at it. I'm just consistent. That's all I understood, that I needed to be consistent. So I encourage you to start tomorrow, start today if you can. Look at your money, open your accounts, and look at those numbers. That's how the control begins. All right. And if you really want real life money systems that actually work, then I would suggest or encourage you to subscribe to this channel. This channel is about controlling money, not about perfection. Or maybe you know somebody and you're already good with your money, but you know somebody who expresses to you that they're living paycheck to paycheck. Well, then share this video with them. It'll put both you and them in a more powerful situation. So until next time, I thank you for watching.